So planning, monitoring, evaluation, and learning are key components in a rigorous feedback system and really an essential component of delivering assistance in humanitarian and long-term development contexts. So, Kurt, could you explain the basic elements of this system to people that are new to it?
Yeah, so in this episode, we'll be looking at how planning, monitoring, evaluation, and learning really can help provide the feedback necessary to inform continuous improvement for nonprofit organizations. So really to define monitoring and evaluation, it provides the tools and the discipline needed to provide the feedback systems to help organizations understand the contribution that their efforts are making to changing lives. So in short, monitoring and evaluation helps organizations gather evidence to know how their efforts really contribute to the outcomes or the life change that they're making.
Organizations need a systematic process in order to describe the progress that they're making with their field activities. If they don't have that, they tend to rely upon anecdotes and stories about their experience. And while this is okay, today's international development sector has more stringent requirements. And the benefits of these more rigorous systems, they capture the lessons learned from these activities, and that helps us improve our project cycle. And it also will eventually help us to grow closer in our relationships with those that support us. Kurt, can you share more about the process of introducing a planning, monitoring, and evaluation system?
Yeah, you bet. So it's really planning, monitoring, and evaluation really follows a cycle. So if you think of you need to do assessment, a need assessment before you start and gather data to understand what's needed. Then you can do your implementation. Often for Engineers Without Borders, this involves building something, a water project or a sanitation system. And then after that, then you need to do monitoring to see how have you built it? Is it built properly? How is the system producing water, or how clean is the sanitation system keeping things? And then you need to really evaluate and ask a deeper question related to what is the life change associated with this work. So are there physical improvements related to the clean water or the sanitation, or are there educational improvements related to the solar system in the school? So these are the kinds of things that the deeper questions related to the life change is what you get from the evaluations step. And then finally, you want to collect the lessons learned from all of this, so that really over time you can continually strengthen the work that you're doing, and the projects can get stronger as you look at the lessons learned.
This systematic process is complex, so let's define some key terminology to help those who are new to the sector learn more about the planning, monitoring, and evaluation system.
Yeah, sounds good. Evaluation really can be full of lots of jargon, so let's break that down. So one of them would be inputs, is often referenced, and this is really everything that you need to make a project work. So you think of like the donations, the volunteers, the tools, maybe the equipment. These are all inputs. And then you have your activities, which is the actual work that you're doing. So the work of conducting the program or the work of building the project for Engineers Without Borders. So then your inputs lead to your activities. Those activities lead then to your outputs, which are really countable activities. So you think of outputs would be like how many wells did you drill, or how many people did you train. These are all ways of thinking of essentially the scale or the scope of your activities, are looking at your outputs. And then finally there's the outcomes, or what is the difference that those outputs make in real lives. So for Engineers Without Borders, what kind of health outcomes are related to the clean water system, or what kind of educational outcomes are related to a solar system. These are all outcomes or life change that's associated with the projects that are completed.
And in fact, like in the private sector, the bottom line is extremely important. But in the international development sector, it's the development outcomes, which is our bottom line.
That's exactly right. Life change is why people really come around this whole process. The reason volunteers volunteer and the reason donors donate is because they want to see lives actually change. So those outcomes are really important.